36 races have been run, 108 medals won over 9 memorable competition days up in the mountains of Zhangjiakou. And now the curtain comes down on the Nordic events at the 2022 Beijing Paralympic Winter Games with the final 2 cross-country races. Always exciting, always frantic in the scramble to make the podium one last time. That'll be the relays. The open and mixed races over 10 kilometres, 4 laps of the 2.5-kilometre course. Ukraine and France defending their Pyeongchang titles. A host of Beijing individual medalists will be hoping for more precious metal in the service of their teams today. Ukraine and China, the two nations who head the medals table, have squads in both races. So too Canada, Japan, the USA, Poland and Germany. France, Brazil, Italy, Norway, Kazakhstan and Great Britain represented today also. Mixed relays were introduced to the Paralympic Winter Games programme in Sochi in 2014. So men and women are racing alongside and against each other for the 3rd time. It's an interesting dynamic and will again prove conducive to some cracking racing here today.
It's another mild day at Zhangjiakou, 2 degrees above zero. Low humidity, not much wind, certainly won't bother our competitors today. And we have 8 teams lining up in this mixed relay, and mixed meaning there must be at least 1 woman in the 4-person team. Ukraine, Japan, Canada, Poland, the USA and Germany all have 2 men and 2 women in their lineups, and Ukraine, very strong combination. They'll be led off by Taras Rad. Have to consider them a good chance of taking it out today, as they are defending champions, but they've got 4 new races compared to 4 years ago, whereas Canada have 3 returning, and they'll be led out by Colin Cameron. So we're using 2 different courses, and we're using classic and freestyle techniques as well, rotating evenly through those. It's quite a complicated and very different looking formula for racing today, and we'll walk you through it as the races unfold. But 2 great relays to look forward to, and a really different perspective and look to the racing here.
Yeah, Ukraine for sure the squad to beat. The defending world champions as well, won the last 2 editions of the world champions in the mixed 4 by 2.5K. Most recent of those was in Lillehammer just 9 weeks ago. They've dropped Lyashenko out of the quartet here and brought in Alexandra Kononova, but Taras Rad, Irina Bui and Pavlo Bal on the start line here. They've had a fabulous Paralympic Winter Games, the Ukrainians. So too the Chinese. Shan Yilin goes off first for China. They have Wang Chenyang, Zhang Peng, 2 gold medals in his locker personally, and Kai Jiayun will anchor the Chinese home, and Germany as well with medals in their team. Leonie Walter and Anja Vicker, Marco Meyer as well with Nico Messenger bringing those home. But that's Taras Rad. He has 3 medals, 2 for Bui, and Kononova with a couple of medals of silver and a gold as well. And Pavlo Bal yet to get on the podium personally, but a big opportunity here with the 4-handed squad for Ukraine in this relay race.
So the big number on the bib is their team number. The smaller number is the leg that they are skiing. So Taras Rad is in bib number 1 and the skier number 1, and we are away. And Taras Rad to lead it off for Ukraine. It's Brazil's Robertson Lula, Iwamoto Kaigo for Japan, Colin Cameron for Canada, Witold Skupian for Poland, Oksana Masters for the United States, Shan Yilin of China, and in Germany in bib number 8, Anja Vicker at the rear of the field initially. And you'll see that the standing skiers are in the classic technique, and they are using the sit ski course for this first lap, 2.5Ks each, and it won't take too long to get this race done. And the percentage factoring, we can explain that as the race unfolds as well. But if you're a fan of Germany, do not be concerned that Anja Vicker is well at the tail of the field already, because the quicker members of her team will be skiing subsequently, and it all evens out according to the factoring system and the percentages. But it does work out differently to the individual races. And they've done their best to groom this course overnight. It really chopped up badly yesterday on a hectic day of racing, and what's left of it looks in pretty good order. We're using two different courses as well, so that will help preserve the courses.
Cameron taking that corner at speed. It's Taras Rad up ahead. 1-1 on the bib for Ukraine. Entirely new quartet to the one that secured the gold medal 4 years ago in Pyeongchang. Batinkova, Bauman, Shishkova, Alyoshenko, Uri, Utkin were the foursome that delivered the golds up in the mountains of Alpenzi. Yuri Utkin, the only Ukrainian there that isn't involved this time around. They have such a deep squad, the Ukrainians, in the parabiathlon competition and the cross country. They have absolutely smashed it, and Taras Rad trying his utmost here to give Irina Bui a decent advantage on that second leg, that second 2.5, and as well the Brazilians with Robelson, Lula and Christian Ribera, a bit of a legend, Aline Rocha, Guillaume Rocha also trying to get an historic medal at the Winter Paralympic Games for South America. But Taras Rad is doing it, laying down the gauntlet thus far for Team Ukraine.
So Ukraine sending out one of their higher percentage races in Taras Rad to start with. He's on 88% for this event. So in the mixed relay, the combined percentage of each team has to total around 330. And Taras Rad is at 88%. Their normal racing percentages have been adjusted for the relays by 18% per leg for the female athletes and 12% per leg for the sit ski athletes. And it sounds initially quite complicated, but when you drill down, it's a little similar to wheelchair basketball, wheelchair rugby, sitting volleyball, where there's a maximum number of points, or in this case, a maximum percentage allowed. Let's see if there's an incident here. Yes, unfortunately there.
That's the Brazilian.
Yes. Now, Robelson Lula taking a fall there. Basically, there's a maximum number of percentage points allowed for each team, and that levels things out. So we go back out onto one of the downhill sections here that gives the skiers the opportunity to relax and fill the lungs with oxygen and surge into the start-finish area. We can explain also, as it happens, the relay exchange. There's no baton, obviously, or even a physical touch between the skiers. The arriving athlete skis across an exchange finish line just 5 meters ahead of the departure line, but in an adjacent lane. And you'll see how it happens, as it does.
It was Rad at the 1 kilometre checkpoint, 7 seconds ahead of Colin Cameron. Starting out for the Canadians, he's switched from the open relay team there. Cameron, you can just see rounding that right-hander on the podium in Pyeongchang. Also the athlete with a couple of bronze medals. So close to getting on the podium in all his events. Colin Cameron there, the 33-year-old in the cross-country, that is. He was just out of the medals in the middle distance for sitting athletes, finished 4th there. But a pair of 3rds in the sprint and the long distance, was 4th as well in the sitting biathlon individual event.
Sona Masters, a couple of gold and 4 silver. Great games for the American, pushing around the first time for the United States. She'll be followed by Sydney Peterson, Daniel Knossen and Jake Adikoff. Visually impaired skier with Sam Wood, the guide for Adikoff when it comes, but it is Rad doing a nice job here for Ukraine at the moment. Colin Cameron with an 84% calculation in this event to Rad's 88. So by rights, Rad should be fractionally ahead of Cameron, and that's how it's playing out. Coming in for the first exchange. First of 4 laps about to be completed.
Yeah, quick fire action in the relays. That's what we like. So Rad here will be handing on to Irina Bowie and Colin Cameron into Emily Young here with Marka Rensen and Natalie Wilkie going later. By the way, it's Kononova who's going to be bringing home the Ukrainians.
So Irina Bowie, see the next skier off to the right there, and there's Emily Young taking off for Canada. Masters comes in, frees it up for Sydney Peterson to take up the skiing for the United States.
Yeah, she's had an excellent breakout here in Beijing. Sydney Peterson for the USA. And Wang for China will be running the second leg. So he gets away. Wang Chen Yang, gold medalist in the middle distance, in the cross-country 11th and 8th in the sprint and the long distance. This is where it starts to get interesting with the handovers. That's Farron for the Poles. Skupian and Farron are going to be running 2 legs apiece here in this relay race, the first of 2 relay races. This the mixed 4 by 2.5 with the open to follow as the Para-Nordic programme winds down here at the end of a fabulous 9 days of competition to Beijing 2022.
Yes, under the race rules, an athlete can ski more than 1 leg, and Poland operating that way with Skupian and Farron doing all the racing, and Canada's Emily Young looking smooth out on the course. The snow looking much better than late in the day yesterday. They've done a nice job grooming it overnight, protecting what's there. And Vika comes in for Germany, and next to go out for them will be Leonie Volter and guide Pemmin Strecker. Volter's also had a very good games.
Yeah, Germany with an excellent 9 days of competition across the para-biathlon and the cross-country. A couple of big stars have made their name here. Up at the front of the field, it's Bowie who looks to maintain the lead for Ukraine. And Bowie there, 26 years of age, a couple of medals in the locker, a gold medalist in the biathlon, the middle distance, a bronze in the cross-country middle. Pushing out.
Yeah, we mentioned Volter's good games for Germany, a gold and 3 bronze. The team's pushing forward their best athletes, obviously, for this mixed relay, followed by the open relay, where there'll be 12 teams. That's going to be a very busy race. And we're just coming up to 10 past 10 in the morning here, so still reasonably crisp, but by winter sport standards, very mild.
Yeah, it's Emily Young for Canada, the only athlete in this quartet who hasn't got an individual medal so far in these games. Completed 5 races. Closest she's come at 5th in the long distance race in cross country. She's had finishes of 7th, 8th and 6th in the biathlon events, but was part of the medal winning squad, the silver squad in this mixed 4 by 2.5 4 years ago in Pyeongchang, a bronze medalist also in the 7.5.
Now Wang just overtaking the Canadian. He's a gold medalist in the middle distance freestyle standing event, so he's in good form, obviously. An 8th in the longer distance event and 11th in the sprint. And here's Sydney Peterson for the US.
Yeah, bronze and a silver for Peterson. Had an excellent games, all things considered, the 20-year-olds. The first big international competition. Well, it only happened in January at the World Champs, Lillehammer, and on the podium on 3 occasions there, a pair of silver medals and a bronze in the sprint, the middle distance and the long distance there.
23 seconds the lead after 1K of the second leg. So Bui continuing the strong start for Ukraine in this mixed 4x2.5K relay. Wang starting to close in perhaps on Bui.
Bui is really pushed out here on this second leg for Ukraine. Emily Young struggling a bit. There'll be a bit of catch-up to be done by Marka Rentz, who goes third for the Canadians, and they're going to be brought home by Natalie Wilkie, a 2-time gold medalist here, and Sydney Peterson trying to keep the United States in the hunt. She'll be handing over to Daniel Claussen with Jake Adikov, the VI skier. They're bringing the Americans home. Sydney Peterson then 42 seconds down at the most recent checkpoint.
Farron of Poland, then it's Brazil, Japan and Germany at this stage. Volta skiing the second leg for the Germans with her guide Permin Strecker, but this is Poland's Iveta Farron. And she'll be backing up to ski the last leg as well. Just the two of them in it for Poland. Skupian, who led out for them.
So it's Ukraine from China, and then Canada and the United States, Poland, Brazil, Japan and Germany. That is our race order here in the mixed 4x2.5 kilometre relay event.
So China's percentage team is a little lopsided, if you like. They've got 2 in the 90s and 2 in the low 70s. Shan went out as a 73 percentage, and Zhang will be next to go, 74. But Wang, who's about to take the lead for China, is a 90, and they'll finish with Tsai Jiayuan with a 96 percentage. So they'll have a very strong finish, and it's just whether anyone can catch them in this third leg, it would seem.
Yeah, Wang with a tremendous surge there at the end of the second leg for China. And handing over to Zhang Peng, a fabulous games, one of the more experienced Chinese athletes in this squad. And then that's our third Ukrainian, Pavlo Bal. He'll be handing over to Kolanova when it comes to the last changeover. But it's China who've just moved up here in this relay race. And then Emily Young will come in, and Marka Rentz will take over, a 3-time medalist for the Canadians in the individual events thus far in these games. There he is, Rentz.
So you observe the exchange there. Rentz was not allowed to go over his line until the finishing athlete had crossed, and that was Emily Young. So that's how the exchange is done. It's no possibility of a drop baton or anything as untoward as that, the way it's done in the relays at these games.
41-year-old Daniel Claussen taking over for the USA. Individually, it hasn't quite happened for him. He had an excellent Pyeongchang games, did Claussen. But an opportunity here to try and move up and build on the good work put in by Sydney Peterson before Jake Adikov takes over. Latter changeovers as Skupian goes again, so not a great deal of time for Skupian to recover after he ran the first leg here for Poland in this relay race. The 32-year-old best finish thus far in Beijing was a 5th in the long distance cross-country event.
Out on the course, we've got Pavlo Bal racing against Zhang Peng. And Zhang will be a good duel between those two. We've got Germany finishing, and now handing over to Marco Meyer to do the third leg for Germany. He might be able to make some significant progress here and bring Germany back into the race. Already moved up from last to 6th. And we've got Brazil and Japan. And for the third leg, Dos Santos Rocha for Brazil and Mori for Japan.
So that's Bao of Ukraine. Not on the podium in individual events thus far. Best finish 6th in the biathlon middle distance. They've had 10 different athletes on the podium. One step or another of the podium thus far in these games. The Ukrainians not quite up with China's 15 medalists, but still a hugely impressive haul all told for Ukraine. 28 medals in either para-biathlon or the cross-country.
They need a big
the last 9 days in Beijing.
Yeah, they need a big leg here from Bal. He's taking on Zhang. Pavlo Bal's percentage 84, Zhang Peng's 74, so Ukraine has actually taken the lead. That's at the exchange where China had a 4-second gap over Ukraine, but Bal's been able to do something about that now and has flipped the standings. He's about 4.5 seconds ahead of Zhang, coming through at 6 Ks.
Yep, and it's a North American battle as well for third. Claussen and Adikov, it's down to them to take Arens and Wilkie, the last two home for Canada. Canada were the silver medalists in this event 4 years ago. Arens was part of that crew.
Does look very good for China. They've got Tsai Jia-yun to finish with a 96% factoring, and that's one of the highest in the field. They've taken the gamble on going with 270s in Shan and Zhang, but Zhang not too far off the pace here of Pavlo Bal, so still looking good for China, even though they're sitting second at the moment. And a good race it'll be for third with Canada and the United States. So Rentz skiing against Claussen for that battle.
Yeah, not that last changeover, only around 10 seconds in it between Canada and the USA, with the Poles way further back there with Witold Skupian before he hands over again to Farron, running another leg for the Poles. So that's Bao coming up at 4 and 3 on the bib. That's Mark Arentz of Canada, 1, 2 and 3 in this mixed 4x2.5 relay race.
Mark Arentz coming up on the back of Zhang. And it'll be Natalie Wilkie bringing it home for Canada, and Arentz to hand over to her. She's had an excellent games. I was talking about the conditions of the snow in yesterday's competition, that she arrived thinking it would be one way and then raced and found it so much harder than she expected, even allowing for knowing that the course was starting to suffer as Arentz steps over into the other track to overtake China. But I must say that Zhang is doing a great job holding on to Pavlo Bal here, not much between them. And he should hand over to Tsai Ji-yun with China in a great position to maybe take this out.
Bao, Zhang and Arentz, then Ukraine, China and Canada. So Bao will be handing over to Alexandra Koninova to bring it home for Ukraine.
China finished 9th 4 years ago, but we need hardly tell you again how much they've improved since then, and the athletes they've uncovered and trained up to a very high standard.
And Zhang was part of that team, wasn't he, in Pyeongchang 4 years ago, as the elder statesman of the squad. So Zhang onto Kai Jia-yun to bring it home for China, or, well, that's the big hope of the largely partisan crowd here, but this is where it all gets very frantic over the last 2.5 here in this mixed relay race. Koninova, Kai, Wilkie, Adikov, Messinger for Germany, Farron, Abe and Rocha will be the last leg, runners and riders. So that's Claussen on to Adikov. A couple of medals already His guide as well will do his bit. Sam Wood for the United States. It's between Canada and the USA for that last podium place at present.
So the United States 30 seconds behind Ukraine, but the battle up front, there was nothing in it at the exchange. But is Tai Jia-Yun quick enough? The percentages certainly have to back him as a very strong chance, racing against Kononova of Ukraine and Wilkie of Canada. It's the battle out front. And well, it's no surprise, really. So I've been able to clear out that it's Kononova and Wilkie. It's China's to lose now. They've already established about a 40-metre lead.
Yeah, Kai really striding on. Two-time medalist. Bronze in the middle distance. He got a silver in the long distance event. Kai Jia-Yun, the 21-year-old. And that's the pursuing pack. Germany
now joining on the last lap. It'll be Nico Messinger and guide Robin Wunderle. But it's looking pretty good for Jake Adikoff to ski the United States into second or third. And Skupian for Poland will hand back to Iveta Faron. So these two competitors each skiing 2 laps. So 5Ks each.
Yeah, Faron off and away on the anchor leg for Poland, but the real action is up ahead. Kai Jia-Yun there. And Adikov in behind.
Yeah, and Adikoff is starting to catch him. Well, this is a real turn-up. Didn't think that the United States could come from that far back. But all credit to Adikoff. He's skiing a great final leg. And for Canada, you've got Natalie Wilkie and Kononova for Ukraine. And the United States would regard this as a very sweet victory if they could pull it off. And he's now in front, Adikoff, by a couple of seconds over Kai. And there's not far to go.
Kononova dropped way back after the earlier legs run by Rad, Bowie and Bal for Ukraine. So for Canada, Natalie Wilkie. 3 medals already, a couple of gold medals and a silver to go with her 3 medals from Pyeongchang. It's just Emily Young, actually, from the Canadian quartet that wasn't part of the squad that won the silver.
Well, Wilkie will be having thoughts about that fall that we don't think it cost her a gold medal. She was in a solid silver position, but this last descent into the start-finish area brought her undone in a previous race. She was okay about it all. And Brazil making their final changeover. And Guillaume Rocha will go out for the Brazilians.
Well, it's been very impressive to see Brazil get 4 athletes in this relay race. Adikoff from Kai. He's had an excellent games as Adikoff with his guide, Sam Wood, is working really hard and in a synchronicity there to just hit the front.
So Adikoff stretching the lead over Kai of China, Wilkie of Canada and Kononova of Ukraine. Not much between them, but Wilkie with a bit of an edge, trying to get a lock on that bronze medal position for the Canadian team. But right now it's Adikoff leading the US to potential gold here in the mixed relay. 25 minutes of race time so far. Masters, Peterson and Claussen went out ahead of Adikoff. All have skied well, and it looks like Kai Jia-Yun doesn't have too much left in the tank, might have to settle for second. Adikoff just needs to stay upright through this slippery section, technically quite challenging. Fast, and turning, but into the straight he comes.
6th and 7th in the last 2 editions of the Paralympic Winter Games, the United States. Adikov was there, part of that squad, but they've got it right this time round by the looks of things. Adikov and Wood bringing it home for the USA. It'll be a sweet victory and a super anchor leg run by Adikov of the USA. China in 2nd place. Canada in 3rd at present. Fantastic, the USA.
Adikov quite restrained in his celebration, a big smile, and his guide delighted as well. Sam Woods, well, they were nowhere until they were somewhere. They came from 4th to 1st in the matter of half a lap, and Kai Ji-yun brings it in 2nd for China. A good race, both teams. US just a little too strong this time. Yeah, it's a big turnaround, as you say, from 4 years ago where they were 7th. It was Kendall Gretsch, Russell and Reiter, and Jake Adikov. Kendall Gretsch skied twice.
They love it. And we're talking about a big change around from 4 years ago. Ukraine absolutely nowhere here. Also the defending world champions is Wilkie for Canada. Bags the bronze. USA, China and Canada. Tremendous race that, particularly by Adikov up at the top of the field.
So a change for Ukraine after gold 4 years ago. Not quite strong enough today, but Kononova satisfied enough with the race she skied, and a smile for her rivals. It's intriguing racing, isn't it? How quickly the fortunes change as skiers from different classifications take over. And Germany up into 5th place, brought home by Nico Messinger. Dragged themselves from 8th to 5th.
Yeah, no place on the podium for Germany after a bronze in Pyeongchang. And great moments of magnanimity amongst the vanquished Ukrainians this time around. Just not making it. It's about North America, this one, with the USA and Canada 1 and 3. And the US didn't have a cross-country gold medal until this very last day of racing.
Well, Daniel Claussen, who not quite as prominent as 4 years ago, bobs up for the gold with the US team. Canada, great result for them.
USA do it. Gold medal in the mixed 4x2.5. Well played there. Oksana Masters, Sydney Peterson, Daniel Claussen and Jake Adikov, who brought it home.
Masters let it out for the United States. Adikov brought it home. It was the key overtaking move out on the course, with Adikov getting past Kai Ji-yun.
He made that move and he just attacked the track ahead of him. In the end, it was a comfortable win for the US by 26 seconds. They've got a finisher here. It's Farron, 30.02 for Poland. That's 4 minutes down.
She can barely contain the delight. Oksana Masters, I read some remarks she made, having been born in Ukraine. the mixed feeling she has about being here. She says she almost feels guilty considering the events happening in the land of her birth, but representing the United States and doing well, picks up her third gold. Those emotions understandable. Adopted by a US family when she was just 5. And Japan, that's Abe Yurika coming in to finish off their race.
Yeah, Rocha will round it off as well for Brazil, but Abe Yurika bringing Japan in 5:18 down behind the lightning quick winning time of 25:59. So that's our last racer out on the course, Guillaume Rocha of Brazil.
Slightly wobbly moment there, negotiating one of the fast sections, and down he goes, unfortunately. Oh,
just on that red line, and he couldn't hold.
Yeah, there are a couple of very fast sections that also have a curve in them, so it can be challenging moments.
Well, there were high hopes that they could get amongst the medals here, Brazil, certainly with Christian Ribeira, the figurehead of their Paranordic squad coming into Beijing 2022. Maybe next time for Brazil. But there'll be a real warm reception for Rocha when he hits the finishing straight. Just has that big sweeping left-hander to negotiate.
Does require a fair amount of skill to maneuver the sit ski at pace around that left-hander. Now he can tuck in for the straighter section and push it home.
There's confirmation there as well that Ukraine over 20 seconds outside the medals. Canada held that bronze comfortably. So the last of our 8 teams will finish this race. USA, China, Canada, Ukraine, Germany, Poland, Japan, and Guillaume Rocha here for Brazil. So they get a finish, and that is still something here. They'll just freewheel over the line ultimately.
He's stretching it out, just enjoying his last moments of racing in Zhangjiakou 2022, and reluctantly it seems over the line he comes.
8 minutes down on the race winners, the United States, but a relief.
Yeah, he shares a hug with Christian Westermeyer Ribera there. The man we've come to know and love as Crazy Pig. There's the confirmation of the results for you. It's the United States by 26 seconds over the People's Republic of China in this 4x2.5 mixed relay. Canada, a strong third, 20 seconds ahead of Ukraine. Then Germany, Poland, Japan, and Brazil. Everybody finished. USA, China, and Canada get the spoils.